Good morning and welcome to the DFL Daily, everybody. Richard Karl, I'm here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. Before we get into today, we got a few exciting events happening across the state. We have some more coffee and conversations with our organizers, one in Bemidji today at 10 a.m. and one in Rochester at 3:30 p.m. We have the weekly rally for our rights in Apple Valley at 4 p.m. We have a CD1 virtual phone bank at 6 p.m. and a CD6 monthly Central Committee meeting at 7 p.m. For more information and future events, you can always go to dfl.org/events to check them out. All right, let's get into the call today. Yesterday, we had Annie Zipfel on to talk about Minnesota's purple voters and the affordability for that are on their minds: food, healthcare, education, and housing. We've learned a lot from Annie and the work that she's done with her team. A lot of insightful feedback on what voters who are really wondering who's going to deliver for them are thinking and what they're searching for in terms of how to connect with them most effectively. Big piece of advice I took away from Annie was this theme from her research: quote, "Go to church." Now, she wasn't speaking literally, but this theme kept coming up in conversations with Minnesota swing and low propensity voters who opened up about what language resonates most with them. Here's what Annie meant by that. Voters want us to communicate clearly, like the messaging they hear from their spiritual leaders. When you hear a spiritual leader, they don't move you with a dollar amount or a percentage. They don't move you with a dissertation. They move you with the heart. They want Democrats to be like that again, to speak that way again. Instead of diving straight into the details of a policy A or policy A1, ultimately people want to hear how we're going to make their lives more affordable. And the focus should always be on how folks are experiencing the world. That's the definition of meet them where they are. People want to feel heard. Feelings and stories are always more powerful than policy and details when it comes to persuading a voter. We need to meet their heart, not their head. This is a simple idea that can translate into your communication starting today. So we're going to do something different today. We're going to ask you to open up your chat because we're going to do a quick workshop in the comments this morning with the go to church lens in mind. The goal is to communicate clearly. So get ready to type into the chat because it's going to be interactive today, and I'm going to call out examples. All right, so we're going to do 5 rounds of this. The first round is about affordability. What are you more likely to hear in church? The economy is in flux, or the system is broken. We know that we know folks that costs are up everywhere. And so I'm asking you today, what are 1 or 2 go to church ways of saying that? We're going to let you type it into the chat. How do you say, in a way that connects emotionally with people, that costs are up everywhere? Oh, these are good. The system is broken. These are typing so fast. The system is broken. Yeah. Your dollar doesn't go as far. Filling my gas tank was shocking. I'm working harder but getting poorer. Yes, it's become too expensive to live. These are great. I'm having a hard time affording my everyday. Yes. Mm. I'm a person shopping just for myself and I can't get groceries less than $100. Yes, gotta wait to pay my bills until I get my paycheck. The family budget can't cover everything. These are great examples of how you connect with people. Well done. All right, we're going to go on to round 2. It's food. Without looking at anything, what's 1 or 2 words you'd use to describe how folks are feeling the squeeze at the grocery store? 1 or 2 words about how people are feeling that squeeze at the grocery store. Buying less, too expensive. Ramen. right? We're buying $1.50 packs of ramen now. Yep, you got to minimize purchases, buying smaller portions. I heard one person on at one of our listening sessions, somebody said to me, "It's gotten so expensive to buy groceries. Like our family has had to stop buying ice cream. Our kids used to get ice cream on Fridays if they had a good week at school, and now they can't even have their ice cream. Buying cheaper unhealthy foods because the healthy foods are more expensive. Eating lots of pasta and rice. Dad skipping dinner. These are great. Okay, round three, we're going to go to healthcare. Keep them coming. We're going to save this chat. These are amazing comments you guys are providing us. Okay, on to healthcare. Next, we've seen a lot of changes and skyrocketing costs for healthcare. This is a complex one. How would you describe ACA tax credits and cuts to medical eligibility in a way that actually connects with people? Hey, Ron, great one. Healthcare is a right, period. Ron and I connected earlier this morning on a phone call. Thanks for being here, Ron. Yeah, just don't get sick. Chuck, an illness shouldn't be a death sentence. Wow, these are great. People can't afford preventive healthcare anymore. It's unethical. Hmm. My daughter can't afford to be on Minsure, right? Very personal terms. Speaking about it from very personal experience. You can try this. Families are paying more to go to the doctor. People are skipping their appointments because healthcare costs keep going up. These are a lot of things that you guys are saying. Some Minnesotans are losing coverage entirely. It's so important for us to be emotionally honest when we talk about healthcare. It's about needing to know every. It's not about needing to know every intricate detail of policy, like exactly how ACA tax credits function within our system, but it's about talking about the personal impact that it has on people's lives. These are great. Okay. Sylvia, healthcare is harder and harder to actually get because insurance companies keep denying everything. Yes, our hospitals and clinics might be closing nearest to us. And that affects if your clinic closes and you have to drive an extra 30 minutes, that's a real burden. Okay, we're going to go on to education. When you think about access to higher education and career training, what are folks feeling? Put something in the chat for us. When you think about access to higher education and career training, what are folks feeling about it? This is fun. You guys are very, very active. All people deserve to have the future they want. College is out of reach. It costs too much. Some are considering that college just isn't worth it anymore, resigning to be being poor their whole life, not being able to achieve that American dream. Some students are facing loans for life, Ellie said. These are great. Yeah, many young folks are giving up the dream of college or tech school because it's just too expensive. I remember when I was going to school, everybody said if you get a college diploma, you earn $1 million over the course of your lifetime compared to people who don't. And now a lot of people are choosing just not to try to do that. It's very expensive. Trying to pay for two kids in college with grants, scholarships, et cetera. Federal loans this past year have dwindled. Elected officials have walked away from kids achieving their dream. These are all great. What we wouldn't say is that higher education and workforce development adjustments, right? You don't want to use that weird vernacular, right? The wonky policy language, higher education and workforce development. Those are buzz phrases. We want to connect with people. Like students should be able to realize their dreams and be able to afford college. Instead, Donald Trump and Republicans have made it harder for people to go to college or get career training. That's just the plain fact, right? And you talk about it in personal terms. I'm the only one in my family who's graduated from college because it just got too expensive for my siblings who came after me. All right, we're going to go into housing now. When it comes to housing, how are people feeling about the housing crisis? Put something in the chat right now. What is happening in the housing crisis right now? How are people feeling about it? On to housing. Rent is out of control, Sylvia says. Absolutely. Same thing from Kathy. Rent is out of reach for young people. That's exactly. You have to make it very personal. Rent is too high. Families are being pushed out of their homes. Seniors can't afford to buy a new house, but can't. Yes, exactly. All right. It's a shame. Rent is too high. Home ownership is not for the middle class anymore. Very powerful. You all can be reading these comments too. Rent is too high. Rent is too high. People can't even save enough for the down payment. There's no room to save. Prices are too expensive across the board. This affordability thing connects all of these, right? Affordability is the through line for what the American people are experiencing right now. That's why when we had 55,000 touch points across the state of Minnesota, everybody talked about affordability in their own experience. Sometimes it was housing, sometimes it was food, sometimes it was healthcare, sometimes it was housing. But these are all central to the lived experience of Minnesotans right now. That is fantastic. Okay, so that was our workshop today. I can't thank you enough for participating. We need to talk about this stuff in ways in which connect with the heart of the voters that we're trying to reach. So today's call to action, put a word or phrase in the chat that you will start using in favor of clear communication. So that's the call to action. Put one more time in the chat, a word or phrase in the chat that you will start using in favor of clear communication. Personally, I'm going to start saying health bills instead of insurance premiums. And I'm going to start saying the cost of rent is too high and young people can't save money for a down payment to buy a new house. There's just no room. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being on the call today. This is fantastic. We're going to save this chat. We're going to think about creative ways of using this going into the future. Really appreciate you. We have 215 days until the November 3rd election. Kathy Olson, I saw your comment yesterday. Yes, that is terrifying. I agree. We only have 215 days until the November 3rd election. Let's go win this thing together. Thanks, everybody.